What if everything you think is real is just the first layer? Beneath the world of touch, taste, and time, ancient traditions and modern physics quietly agree on something astonishing. Reality is made of layers, stacked dimensions that shape what we call life, thought, and soul. These dimensions aren't science fiction. They're not distant galaxies or dream worlds. They're the hidden framework of existence, dimensions we move through every day, often without realizing. Some traditions say there are 7, others say 10. But a few, the boldest mystics, the oldest civilizations, speak of 13. 13 dimensions, each more mysterious than the last. And the final one? It's the one even science refuses to name, but those who've touched it call it the void, the place before everything. This map of dimensions isn't just about the cosmos. It may hold the key to something far more personal: purpose, perception, and the soul's hidden architecture. Let's start at the surface, with what we can see, touch, and stand on, and descend into the unseen. The journey begins with what appears most obvious: the physical world. But even here, the layers begin to unfold. The first dimension is the simplest: a straight line. One direction, no width, no depth, only length. Imagine a single thread pulled tight in the void. It exists, but only as movement in one direction, with no awareness of anything beyond its own linear flow. The second dimension adds width. It's the realm of flat shapes, squares, triangles, and circles. A being in this world would live like a shadow on a sheet of paper, unable to comprehend anything with depth. To such a being, a sphere wouldn't be a shape. It would just appear as a line changing in thickness as it passed through their plane. The third dimension is where depth comes into play, and with it, what most call reality. This is the world of height, width, and length, a world of objects, motion, and physical experience. The table, the mountain, the human body, all exist here. But even this dimension, as solid as it seems, is an illusion of boundaries. Matter, when examined closely, is just energy vibrating in form. Ancient mystics, from the Vedas to the Toltecs, knew this before microscopes ever confirmed it. What looks like solid is actually vibrating emptiness shaped by frequency. Think of it this way: a 1D line becomes a 2D drawing, which becomes a 3D sculpture. Each dimension contains the one before it, yet reveals more than the one beneath. And still, it's just the surface. Living entirely within the first 3 dimensions is like watching a movie with the sound off and subtitles missing. The visuals are clear, but the deeper story, the why, the meaning, the unseen connections, remain silent. In the ancient view, these physical dimensions are the skin of existence, beautiful and necessary, but not the whole. They're the mask, not the face. To understand the soul's path, the real transformation begins when we move past form and step into time, the silent current that carries everything forward. And we can find that at the 4th dimension. The 4th dimension is not a place, it's a flow. Time. Unlike length, width, and height, time can't be touched or seen, yet it governs everything. From the beating of a heart to the aging of a star, it is the invisible rhythm behind motion, change, and memory. Einstein was the first to describe it as part of space-time, the idea that time and space are not separate, but woven together. Imagine the universe as a vast fabric. Every object, every being, every planet bends and moves through this fabric. Time is the direction along which we experience these movements. But here's the twist: the 4th dimension doesn't move. We move through it, like a needle threading a line. The past isn't behind us, and the future isn't ahead. They exist all at once, like pages in a book. We just turn one page at a time. Many ancient systems recognized this before science caught up. The Mayans, for example, tracked time in cycles, not straight lines. They saw time as alive, breathing, spiraling, evolving. In 3D, we think in terms of now, but in 4D, time becomes part of the terrain. The soul experiences events not just as isolated moments, but as part of a flowing continuum, where cause and effect ripple across lifetimes. And in this stream, patterns repeat, lessons return, synchronicities emerge. The soul doesn't just move through time, it learns through it. To live only in the first 3 dimensions is to be bound to form. To awaken into the fourth is to begin sensing the movement behind the moment, to feel the thread pulling the past into the present and the future into focus. But beyond time lies something stranger still, not what happens, but what could have happened, a mirror of alternate timelines and choices never made. Welcome to the 5th dimension. Imagine standing at a crossroads, every direction representing a different choice. The 5th dimension is where alternate timelines unfold. It's not just one path through time, but every possible path that could have been taken in this universe. Every what if, every missed chance, every bold decision avoided plays out here. These aren't fantasies. They're fully formed realities running parallel to this one, shaped by different choices and actions. It's like watching your life from above, seeing the many routes it could have followed, and knowing that somewhere each version still exists. The 6th dimension expands this even further. Here, we move beyond alternate timelines in this universe to entirely different universes, each with the same physical laws, but different initial conditions. Universes where the Big Bang unfolded slightly differently, where history rewrote itself, where civilizations rose or fell under different stars. Picture it like this. If the 5th dimension is every page of your life written in alternate ink, the 6th is every version of the book with a different plot, cover, or language, yet somehow still part of the same genre. Both of these dimensions introduce the idea of the multiverse, not just a collection of timelines, but a layered structure of realities. Modern quantum physics even hints at this with theories like many worlds interpretation, which suggests that every quantum decision creates a branching universe. But ancient teachings also speak to this. Some mystical traditions describe dream worlds, mirror worlds, or the Akashic field, where every version of every life is stored like echoes across time. In these higher dimensions, the soul is no longer a single thread. It's a web stretching across possibilities. Growth isn't linear anymore. It's expansive, simultaneous, and infinite. And just beyond this lies something even more alien, dimensions where the rules themselves no longer apply. The 7th dimension awaits, where the laws of physics shift and reality begins to rewrite itself. By the time we arrive at the 7th dimension, reality is no longer just a matter of space, time, and choices. Here, even the rules that shape existence begin to dissolve. The constants we rely on, gravity, light, atomic structure, can shift. This is a realm where entire universes exist with completely different laws of physics. Universes where time might loop instead of flow, or where matter doesn't behave the way it does here. This is not just a new set of timelines, it's a new kind of canvas entirely. If the lower dimensions describe variations of what is, the 7th dimension introduces what could be, in the most radical sense. It's the first layer of what mystics sometimes call the cosmic blueprint, the architecture not just of what happened, but of how anything can happen. The 8th dimension takes this further. Imagine a place that contains all the possible laws of physics, a master realm where every conceivable set of cosmic rules has been written, tested, and allowed to exist. It is the archive of all possible realities. In mystical language, this is the plane of divine intelligence, the raw code from which the universes are spun. And then comes the 9th dimension, where not only every version of every universe exists, but every relationship between those versions too. It is total interconnection, No longer separate realms or laws, but the entire network of multiversal existence, a unified system of all possibilities, playing out in limitless permutations. To picture this, if the third dimension is a sculpture and the sixth dimension is a gallery of alternate sculptures, then the ninth is the library that holds every possible gallery, with every material, every artist, and every rule of art imaginable. And it knows how they all relate. This is the height of multiplicity, a field of everything. Some esoteric traditions refer to this as the mind of God, not as a figure, but as a living field of intelligence, possibility, and connection. But in all this complexity, something surprising happens. Beyond all variations, beyond the chaos of infinite choice, lies a moment of stillness, a return to unity, a place where all becomes one again. This is the 10th dimension. This dimension is where everything converges, not as a collection, but as a single, seamless whole. All timelines, all possibilities, all universes and laws of physics collapse into pure unity. There is no separation here, no time, no space, only being. This is not a place of variety, but of totality, where the soul, the cosmos, and consciousness itself are indistinguishable. Mystics have called this source, the one, or simply all that is. It's not thinking, it is thought. It doesn't act, it is action. Yet even this divine wholeness requires something to support it, a pattern, a structure, an order behind the infinity. This leads us to the 11th dimension, described in M-theory as the framework in which entire universes float, membranes or brains suspended in a higher dimensional space. But esoterically, this isn't just physics. It's the architecture of consciousness. If the 10th dimension is the content, the 11th is the code. This is where intention and awareness take on shape, not physical shape, but energetic structure. It's the interface where soul, science, and subconscious all begin to echo one another. Some spiritual systems saw this dimension as the mind of the divine architect, not a creator with desires, but a pure intelligence that arranges all possibilities into harmonious design. Symbols like mandalas and yantras are glimpses of this dimension drawn into human form. Here, form does not yet exist, but the possibility of form does, not by force, but by alignment. Everything is held in perfect proportion, waiting for consciousness to collapse it into experience. If the 10th dimension is the hum of the universe, the 11th is the tuning, the quiet precision that makes harmony possible. And still, one final mystery remains. Beyond all structure, beyond all design, lies the original silence, the purest field, the unspoken void that gives birth to Source itself. This is the 12th dimension's threshold, the space before anything was. Now, the 11th dimension is the structure behind all existence, but the 12th is what breathes life into that structure. Pure, conscious awareness. This is not the unity of all things. It is the awareness of that unity, a field of intelligence that is not bound by time, identity, or perception. Mystical traditions speak of this as the highest form of light, not light that illuminates objects, but light that is consciousness itself. In the 12th dimension, duality dissolves completely. There is no separation between self and other, subject and object, thought and reality. Everything is made of awareness, not observing the world, but being the world. This is what some have called divine intelligence, universal mind, or God consciousness. Not a deity, not a being, but a living field of presence. It is still. It is awake. It knows, not through thought, but through direct luminous being. But even this radiant consciousness arises from something deeper. The 13th dimension is often unnamed. It is the void, the state before even Source expresses itself. It is not dark. It is not light. It is not empty. It is not full. It is beyond polarity, beyond presence, beyond description. The Aztecs, Buddhists, and Taoists all hinted at it. The silence before creation, the canvas before the first stroke, the space before vibration begins. Science avoids naming it. Mysticism barely dares. Because this is the point where language, thought, and even awareness reach their edge. The 13th dimension is pre-being. It holds no form, no law, no self. It is the 0 point, the primordial potential, the place from which all dimensions, including consciousness itself, emerge, and to which they eventually return. It is not the source. It is what allows source to exist. Think of it as the breath before the breath, the space between the heartbeats of the universe. This is not a realm to reach. It's a state to be remembered. It is not upward or beyond. It is underneath, humming silently through all levels of being. And so, the final revelation is this. The map doesn't lead away from us, but deeper into us. These 13 dimensions are not stacked above the world. They are within it, echoing through our perception, our experience, and our very soul. The map of the 13 dimensions is not a ladder to climb or a secret to unlock. It is a mirror reflecting the vast, multi-layered nature of being itself. Each layer isn't somewhere else. It is now, coexisting in stillness, motion, thought, breath. The mistake is thinking these dimensions are out there, that the soul must ascend, escape, or transcend. But the deepest truths aren't reached by leaving. They are revealed by looking inward, downward, deeper. The physical world isn't an illusion to reject. It's a symbol, a sculpture molded from deeper laws, which themselves rise from unseen energies, architectures, and finally, silence. What seems solid is only the outermost skin of a cosmos that is more like a thought than a thing. The ancients knew what physics is only beginning to glimpse. That matter is just vibration slowed, that consciousness is not born from brains, and that the story of the soul cannot be told in 3 dimensions alone. But the most startling idea of all? These dimensions are not levels to conquer. They are states of perception. To live in one dimension over another is not a mark of progress. It's a reflection of where awareness is centered. A person can live surrounded by the physical while quietly sensing timelines branching around them. Another may feel the subtle structures behind their choices. Someone else may experience pure unity, even while walking through the noise of everyday life. It's not hierarchy, it's resonance. And perhaps that's the soul's real purpose, not to become something else, but to remember what already is, to stop mistaking the echo for the voice, the form for the force, the name for the essence. In the language of myth and mysticism, awakening has often been portrayed as a journey, crossing thresholds, slaying dragons, ascending planes. But in truth, it may be something far simpler, not a reaching beyond, but a sinking into the quiet place beneath experience where all layers are one. That's where the 13 dimensions truly live, not in the sky, but in the silence between thoughts, in the subtle knowing that stirs when the mind stills and something wordless arises. Not every dimension needs to be explained. Some are meant to be felt, like deja vu, or the pause before intuition speaks, or the strange calm in moments of chaos. So the question isn't, how high can consciousness climb? It's, how fully can it remember? There is no map to follow. There is only the unfolding of awareness, like a petal opening, revealing, not reaching. The cosmos is not distant. It is not separate, and it is not silent. It hums within. And those who listen don't hear words. They hear the shape of truth, not forward, not up, not out, but inward. Because the doorway to the 13th dimension has always been there, carved in stillness, waiting for the soul to remember its way home.